The first Legend of Zelda game released for the Nintendo Entertainment System, also known as the NES, in February of 1986. There's a lot I can say about the first Zelda game, such as how the game told you to read the manual before playing, as it actually helped understanding the story as well as giving us several pieces of artwork to go along with it. But the topic for today is the famous title screen music, which is the exact song you're listening to right now. Did you know that this song was created in less than 24 hours? A lot of you probably did know that, but the story behind why it was created in under 24 hours is very interesting, as well as confusing? To be clear, it's actually not confusing at all. That was until Zelda creator Shigeru Miyamoto made it confusing, which sadly has caused a lot of articles as well as a big portion of people to believe something that just isn't right. But to use a simple example of how it's confusing, I'll put it like this. A lot of people and websites have created both videos and articles on this topic. Is the information that a big portion of them give correct? No. So that must mean they're giving false information. Also no. It's a rare case of two things can be true at once, even though they may completely contradict one another. But before we jump into that, let's go through the story of the famous 1986 Zelda title music with a very simplified and easy to understand explanation. Koji Kondo, who is a composer, was in charge of creating the music for the first Legend of Zelda game. I would also like to add that the instructions he was given when it came to creating the music was incredibly vague. For example, the instructions for the cave music used in the game only said short BGM, and the instruction for the title music simply read title music. Though without much to go on, he definitely delivered. But for the title music, he wanted to use the song Bolero, created by composer and pianist Maurice Ravel. Here's a short version of what it would have sounded like, and the full song can be found in the description. Though he wanted to use the song Bolero as the title music, they found out that the song was protected by copyright and he had to change it, causing him to pull an all-nighter, creating the title song we have today in less than 24 hours. As you can see, this is not complicated at all. They wanted to use a song, couldn't because of copyright, made something else. So what could possibly make all of this so confusing and complicated? Well, it's time to explain. Zelda creator Shigeru Miyamoto, composer Koji Kondo, and designer Takahashi Tezuka were interviewed in 2016 to celebrate the Legend of Zelda's 30th anniversary, where they would actually talk about this specific incident. And you can find a whole interview in the description, but I'm going to read the part that is relevant for this video right now. Koji Kondo said this after being asked if composing the music progressed smoothly. For quite a while, it just played Ravel's Bolero. It really matched the opening crawl. Miyamoto would then say, "You rearranged it for the NES, right?" Kondo replies, "Right." But immediately before finishing The Legend of Zelda, we learned that it was still under copyright. Oh, I remember that. The copyright incident. In Japan, music usually enters public domain 50 years after the passing of the composer. And Maurice Ravel, who wrote the music we were using for the opening crawl, lived a long time ago. So we thought we were safe. But we looked it up just to be safe and found out it had been something like 49 years and 11 months since Ravel's passing, and the copyright would run out in 1 month. But we didn't think we could wait that long. They also do talk about them being short on time, as the game couldn't be delayed as it was being released alongside the NES peripheral, the Famicom Disk System. Which is something to talk about for another day. The only thing about it that is relevant for this video is that the system had another sound channel, allowing Kondo to create the music more efficiently. Kondo would even state that he was desperate and that it really came down to the wire. Before I go further, I just want to point out that the law Miyamoto is referring to was changed from 50 to 70 years in 2018. But I will refer to the law pre-2018, as that's the one that's relevant for the release of the game and the interview. So Miyamoto reveals that they had found out that Ravel had passed away 49 years and 11 months ago, meaning they would only be 1 month shy of being allowed to use the song Bolero. This is the complicated part, because it's impossible. The Legend of Zelda released February 21st, 1986. If there was 1 month left on Ravel's copyright, that means he must have had to have passed away in March, as anything earlier than March would mean that the copyright would have expired by the time the game released. But Maurice Ravel did not pass away in March. He passed away in December 28th. To be exact. Now, this isn't a big deal. This could simply mean that Miyamoto was exaggerating for the interview to make it more interesting. I mean, there's only a 4-month period between December and March, right? Wrong. For this to work, Ravel would also have had to have passed away in 1935. But he actually passed away December 28th, 1937. That means there was still almost 2 years left on the copyright and not 1 month. Now, do I think this is a big deal? Do I think Miyamoto should be thrown into the depths of hell and be spanked by Lucifer himself? No. The truth is, it's not that deep. There could have been a multitude of reasons why Miyamoto said this. Whether it was to make the story more exciting, or what I think. What I think is that he simply read the date wrong. Remember how I said that Ravel would have had to have passed away in March? Well, he was actually born in March. Easy mistake. As for the year, I didn't find any evidence linking Miyamoto to dyslexia, but reading a 5 instead of a 7, I guess it's an easy mistake to make. This was 1986, people. Wikipedia didn't exist yet. But again, maybe there is some weird possibility where what Miyamoto said was correct. I wouldn't know. I've never produced a video game before. But there you have it, and as always, I hope you enjoyed. And if you're still watching, thanks for sticking around.